Hello, welcome back to another class with No More Grammar Groans. This is lesson 4. In this lesson, we will be learning about the fourth sentence pattern, noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2. Before we start, I would like to go over the assignments from the last lesson just to make sure that you are totally clear on what I wanted you to do. One of those assignments was the creative writing assignment, and you had two options. You could do a how-to and list 10 different steps on how to do something. We talked about you being the subject. For example, when you write how-to, it's you gather the dirty clothes and put in the laundry. So you is a subject, but you don't have to put that in because that's called an understood you. We already know that you is who you're talking to. Gather is a verb. You will start each line with a verb so that you can go on into that direct object, which is gather clothes, make bed, throw trash, and you're welcome to add prepositional phrases if you would like. It always makes for a better how-to paragraph, not a paragraph, how-to, when you have prepositional phrases. It makes it a little clearer. For example, throw trash, number 3. If I didn't put in the garbage my prepositional phrase, then it would be a little bit like, what is her name? The woman in the books, the maid that always does the crazy things. It would be like throwing trash. Oh, so I'm just going to throw trash anywhere. I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. Put shoes. Where do I put the shoes? So those prepositional phrases are really helpful when you add them to your how-to assignment. If you did not want to do a how-to, you are welcome to make a little children's picture book with pictures. Make sure you have the title. And these are going to be very simple sentences, nothing fancy, just a very simple book. This was a day at the beach. Now, I did include prepositional phrases, which is always okay. At the beach, prepositional phrase. I, subject, ride is my verb. A boogie board, board being the direct object. And as you can see, all of my different pictures and just a simple little sentence. I build a sandcastle. My mom makes a lunch. We find shells on the sand. I just kept it very simple. I really didn't even add a lot of prepositional phrases because I just wanted it to be very simple since it was a little children's book. And I wanted you to have 10 different sentences with pictures. Along with the assignments that I already mentioned, you had a worksheet activity in which you could draw the nouns in the sentences. You've seen those books where you read along and then it has a little picture and then you say what the picture is and you continue reading. This is a little bit like that. So the baby ate the cake. Baby would be my subject, ate is the verb, and then cake would be the direct object, and I could draw a picture of each of those items. If you do not like drawing, you're welcome to write them in. I do want to let you know that I'm not expecting fancy artwork necessarily, unless you are a great artist, but I'm not expecting that. I just want a simple little drawing. Sometimes when we draw things, it helps us to understand better what's going on. So that is why this assignment is asking you to draw. However, again, if you just loathe drawing and you'd rather write it in and you do it all correctly, then I don't have a problem with it. The next assignment is a noun, verb, noun 2 worksheet about Leonardo da Vinci. I hope that you found these sentences very interesting about Leonardo da Vinci. Throughout this, almost every sentence was noun, verb, noun 2. There was one that was different, And then at the very bottom, I mentioned it should be assistant. And there we go, assistant. And so I'm sorry that that was not correct on your assignment. I did record a video of me grading this, and so you may go into the classroom and click on that video link and grade it for yourself so you can see what you've missed. Let's start our lesson. Lesson 4, noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2. We are going to have a quiz now. I spy the direct object quiz. I want you to turn to the next page in your notebook so you have a clean sheet and write quiz. Underneath quiz, put lesson 4. That way it will be very clear when you have the quiz. You will be writing sentences. These sentences may be a noun verb sentence pattern or a noun verb noun 2 sentence pattern. And sometimes I will ask you to write in a prepositional phrase. I'm only going to do 5, but this is an activity that you may do at home after class. If you have a sibling that takes this class with you, or maybe a parent that would like to do it with you, we are going to play the I Spy game. Now, of course, I can't hear what your answers are. I will give you my answer after I give you a few seconds to try to find what I spy, and I want you to use my answer in your sentences. However, when you play with the other person, you would use their answers. So if you say, I spy something, and then they guess what it is, whatever the item is that you spied, and then of course if they guess it, that item needs to be the one that you write about. Let's begin. Number 1. I spy something red. I spy something red that you may wear. If you guessed the crown on the top shelf, you were correct. I want you to think of a sentence in which crown is a direct object. And write it down. You may also want to pause because I'm going to give you a few answers that you could have written down. But go ahead and pause so that you can get your sentence down first. Here are some example sentences you may have written. The king wore a crown. King is the subject, wore is the verb, crown is the direct object. I spy a crown on the top shelf. I, subject, spy, verb, crown is the direct object, and on the shelf is a prepositional phrase. The king lost his crown. Those are 3 examples. Let's move on. Number 2. I spy something wooden. I spy something wooden that makes beautiful music. If you are looking down here in this lower corner, you will see a violin. Now I want you to make a sentence with a noun verb sentence pattern. The violin will need to be a subject. Here are some examples. The violin sat on the shelf. You do not have to add a prepositional phrase. I just did because I wanted to. Violin is the subject, sat is the verb, on the shelf. The violin leaned against the wall. Against the wall is a prepositional phrase. Violin leaned is the subject verb, noun verb sentence pattern. The violin was played by the girl. By the girl would be prepositional phrase. Was played is the verb. Violin is the noun. How could you write it as a direct object? My daughter plays the violin. Daughter plays violin. Noun, verb, noun 2. Number 3, I spy something purple. Yes, it's a stapler. I want you to write a sentence using stapler as either the subject or the direct object and add a prepositional phrase. You may choose to have the staple be the subject or the direct object. When you're finished, you need to label that sentence. Make sure that you have it correct. Here are some examples. As the subject, I would say, the staple sits on the desk. So noun verb sentence pattern with staple being the subject. On the desk is my prepositional phrase. The purple stapler sits on the desk. Sits is the verb. On the desk is a prepositional phrase. Purple stapler, which is just stapler, is the subject. Here's an example of it being a direct object. The girl used the purple stapler. Used is the verb. Girl is the subject. Girl used what? Stapler. And I forgot to add a prepositional phrase. So I would say the girl used the purple stapler for her book. For her book is the prepositional phrase. Number 4, I see something blue. I spy something blue. That almost everyone has. All right, maybe you see this phone. I want a sentence where phone is the direct object. Here are some examples. The girl broke her phone. Girl broke phone. I got a new phone for Christmas. For Christmas is a prepositional phrase. I is a subject, got is the verb. What did I get? Phone. Here's a little challenging one. Give me the phone, please. Give is the verb. What's the subject? Who gives? You give. There's the understood you. You give. What's the direct object? Phone. Sometimes when we use sentences like that, when we see sentences, give me the phone, I've had students put the verb as give, and then phone as a subject. But the phone didn't give. Something had to give the phone. That's where you just need to write in you in parentheses and put the in above the word you. I believe I have one more. I spy something furry. I spy something furry looking at me. Yes, it's the cat. I want you to use the cat both as a subject, one sentence as a subject, and then write another sentence using it as a direct object, with each having a prepositional phrase. Here are some examples. I will give one example for each. Cat as the subject. The cat is looking at me. At me is a prepositional phrase. Cat is the subject. Is looking is the verb. Now, cat as a direct object. I put the cat on the chair. On the chair is the prepositional phrase. I, subject, put, verb, cat is the direct object. That is how it's done. You are welcome to play this with someone in your family and have fun with it. We are ready to start our notes. In the in 3 in 2. What is that? What is the in 3? Noun 3 is the indirect object, which means it would be subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. How to find the in 3, which is the indirect object. You will hear me say that several times because usually you will not hear an in 3. We call it that in this course. It's been called that for years in this course, but it's really called the indirect object. It's just for labeling's sake, we write in 3. How to find the in 3. Ask, verb, to whom or what. Now remember, the direct object was verb, who or what. Now it's verb, to whom or what, and also for whom or for what. So you could say verb for whom or for what, verb of whom or verb of what. Here is a sample sentence. The stewardess offered Sally a peppermint stick. We have no prepositional phrase. Offered is our verb. Stewardess is the subject. Stewardess offered what? That's the direct object. What? What was offered? Stewardess, what received the action? What was being offered? Stick. The stick is being offered, not Sally. The stewardess didn't pick Sally up and offer it to the stick. Stick is what's being offered. That's the direct object. Then we say verb to whom or what. Offered to whom? The indirect object would be Sally. The way I like to say it is this. Stewardess offered stick to whom? Sally. There's your indirect object. I like to add the whole 3 words, subject, verb, direct object, then come back and do the indirect object. Remember, this is a sentence pattern. It's not in, V, in 2, in 3. Never, ever, 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 ever do in, V, in 2, in 3 because it's wrong. It will never, ever, ever be like that. If you ever have an indirect object, it will follow the verb. It will not follow the direct object. It will not follow the direct object. I say this several times because I do see when students do this, they many a time will say subject, verb, and then they want to call something like Sally the direct object and stick the indirect object. So I cannot emphasize enough that this is a pattern, a pattern. Just like a pattern for a chicken is the chicken lays the egg hatches, baby chick comes out, baby chick grows up, becomes a chicken to lay the egg, for the egg to hatch, for the baby chick to come out and grow up, to become a chicken. It's a cycle, it's a pattern. Never ever does the baby chicken come out before the egg. It's the same as with the sentence patterns. They must follow what they are, and that is subject, verb in this situation, indirect object, direct object. I hope I'm very clear on that. Ask, verb, to whom? Okay, that's what the indirect object is going to be, to whom. Verb was offered, and then to whom is going to be our indirect object. Verb offered to whom? Sally. Sally is the indirect object. Here are some examples. Pause as you write these sentences down. I will read through them, but if you need to pause, then pause. I'm assuming you will. 1. Thomas Edison's mother taught him experiments at home. Thomas Edison's mother taught him experiments at home. Number 2, at 12, he sold passengers his published newspapers on a train. At 12, he sold passengers his published newspapers on a train. Number 3, he gave you and me the light bulb. He gave you and me the light bulb. Number 4, Thomas Edison brought us new ideas and delights with his inventions. Thomas Edison brought us new ideas and delights with his inventions. You may pause to finish writing these sentences. Let's label them. Do we have any prepositional phrases in number 1? At home. What is the action? Taught. Very good. And then who taught? Thomas Edison didn't teach. Mother taught. What was taught? Experiments. Who or what was taught? Now, Thomas Edison was taught. Yes, he was taught. Mother taught who? If it just said Thomas Edison's mother taught him at home, then him would be receiving the taught, right? Thomas Edison, him, would be receiving the teaching. But here in this sentence, there's another word added in, and that's experiments. Because that is added there, experiments now is the one that's receiving the teaching. And then who was taught those experiments? Him. Indirect object. I will do the next one, and then I want you to do it by yourself. Actually, I want you to do it by yourself, just with a pencil, not a pen, and see if you can do it all correctly, and then I'll come back through and show you how we did it. Number 2, at 12 should be the prepositional phrase. On a train is another prepositional phrase. Sold is our verb. Who sold? He. Now, who got sold? Or what got sold? Newspapers, that's right. Newspapers is the noun too. And who received? He sold newspapers to whom? passengers. Now we have our noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2. Number 3, he gave you and me the light bulb. He, I'm sorry, let's start with there's no prepositional phrases. Gave is the verb. He is the noun. He gave what? If you said you and me, did he give you, did he actually give you to someone? No. He did give us something, but there's something that he gave that is the actual object that was being given. Light bulb. He gave light bulb to whom? You and me. So there's not and, but you, me. We both are the ones that receive the light bulb. Number 4, Thomas Edison brought us new ideas and delights with his inventions. Now I see a prepositional phrase with his inventions. Brought is our verb. Who brought? Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison brought what? Brought us or brought ideas and delights? Brought ideas, delights to whom? Us. There you have it. I'm going to clear this now, so pause if you need to see this. Pause. 3, 2, 1, clear. Now turn to the next page. If you still have room on your notebook page, then just stay on that page. If not, turn to the next page. This is important. If you have a sentence like this, Mother baked a cake for me. We'll give you a second to write this. Me is not the noun to the direct object because it is in a prepositional phrase. Write this down and is the object of the preposition. Do you see for me? That's a prepositional phrase. Me is not, it can't be a direct object. It's inside that phrase, which makes it the object of the preposition, which is what that's saying. Which means all you have is mother baked a cake, which means it's a noun, verb, noun to sentence pattern. You need to change the sentence if you want an indirect object. If you're just writing something to somebody or a story or whatever, then it doesn't matter. Mother baked a cake for me. Just know that's the noun, verb, noun to sentence pattern. If you're supposed to write a noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2, or you're supposed to see if it has an indirect object in it, then you're going to have to change it. Mother baked me a cake. Now you have baked is the verb, mother is the subject. Mother baked what? Cake. For whom? Me is the indirect object. Me received the cake. That makes it the indirect object. Cake is a direct object, and cake is what received the baking. Please write all of this down. Let's diagram. Lee gave Kara the book. Write this down. While you're writing this, I just want to mention that this course is not really teaching you all about diagramming. We're just doing simple diagram, very simple diagramming, because diagramming is a whole nother level of grammar. And I really don't want you to feel completely overwhelmed. I'm not wanting you to feel overwhelmed at all. I'm hoping that these lessons are making grammar a little bit easier for you. But if I wanted to go in and have you diagram every single word in the sentence, I'm very concerned that it would confuse you. There is lots of diagramming information out on the internet, and perhaps I will do a course sometime in diagramming. Diagramming is, personally, I don't know that you need to know every single thing about diagramming. Diagramming really helps with separating out the different parts of speech to help make it clearer for you. My goal is with this course and learning the patterns, it will already be very easy for you. But I am wanting to introduce you a little bit to the diagramming. So that is why I don't teach you how to diagram every single thing. It would take too long to get through these classes and this course. We have Lee gave Kara the book. Here's the diagram. This is how you do the subject, verb, indirect object. Direct object. So we have noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2 is what I was saying. We have Lee, because this is a subject. Gave is going to be in the verb spot. The direct object, just like we wrote in the last lesson, is in the same place. And then we have Kara as the indirect object. Now we are going to play another Mad Lib. This one is on noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2. I hope that you enjoyed the last Mad Lib. You will think of where the question marks are. You need to write down a subject, indirect object, and direct object. I think that I will put one down too. I'm going to think of one. I'm going to think of it out loud because you should already have yours down. If not, pause it. But I'm going to go ahead and think of one out loud. I don't even remember what my verb or prepositional phrase is on this slide. So I'm going to do the gorilla. That's going to be my subject, a gorilla. Indirect object needs to be something that receives the direct object. So I'm going to say baby, her baby. And then direct object will be candy. Okay, gorilla, baby, candy. Let's see what I've got. The gorilla gave her baby candy in the forest. That sounded pretty good, actually. The gorilla gave her baby candy in the forest. Next one. Think of a direct object and a prepositional phrase. All right, mine is going to be car for direct object and at the beach as a prepositional phrase. Boy told friend. Oh, the boy told his friend a car at the beach. That doesn't even make sense, does it? A boy told his friend a car at the beach. That makes no sense. Ideally, what would be a good word there for car? Story. Exactly. All right, three questions. Subject, indirect object, prepositional phrase. I'm going to choose, I want you to pause if you don't have anything. Cat. Now, here comes something fun. We're going to play Jeopardy. Going to see how well you remember what we've been learning. Jeopardy. This is an activity you actually can play at home. I will post the link into the classroom, and then you can play it. You can play it with family members. You can play it just by yourself, see how many points you can get. Here you see the screen that you will get as soon as you click on the link. Direct and indirect objects. If there's more than one of you playing, then you up, 2 teams, 3 teams, however many is playing. But if it's just you, then you'll just hit 1. And right now, we'll just treat it that way. Then you're going to click Start, identifying direct objects, identifying noun 3, which are indirect objects, and application. When you play this, which we're going to do here for a few minutes, you will tell which area you want. For example, application 100. So you click on it and it pops up. Make a sentence with a noun verb sentence pattern using the following words: ball, bounced. Well, my sentence pattern is going to be the ball bounced down the road. Let's look and see if I'm right. You go up here to the top where it says reveal correct response. What is the ball bounced? Which, remember, with Jeopardy, you are supposed to answer it as a question. What is the ball bounced? If you add a prepositional phrase, that's okay. It's not wrong. So because I got that one, I come down here where it says Team 1, and I give myself a plus, and it will add it for me. Then I'm going to hit continue. Choose another one. Let's try for identifying direct objects 100. The direct object received the action in this sentence. He ate an apple. When you answer, you say, what is an apple? What is an apple is correct. 200 points. Let's try indirect objects for 100. Daddy told me a story. This noun is the noun 3. Which noun is the noun 3? If you said, what is me? It's correct. If you miss something, you will need to hit the negative, the red minus. Let's go for, we're just going to go slowly up, but if you're playing against somebody, you'll want to try to get the higher points. Let's do the direct objects for 200. The direct object receives this. Remember to answer with a question. What is? The direct object receives this. Let's reveal. What is the action verb? Did you get it right? If you did not, we minus. If you got it right, we will add. So now you would be 500. Continue. You are on your own for this. Direct objects for 300. The number of direct objects in this sentence. They watched TV and ate yummy pizza. They watched TV and ate yummy pizza. Let's check it out here. We have 2 verbs. We have a subject, they watched and they ate. What are the direct objects? What was watched? TV and ate pizza. Oh, yummy is not a verb. Ate is the verb. I'm sorry about that. So how many direct objects do you see? Answer the question. The number of direct objects in this sentence. Let's see if you got it right. What is 2? Did you get it? If so, you got 300 points added. Continue. Application for 500. Make a sentence using the noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2 sentence pattern using the following words. Gift Mom Billy gave. Mom gave Billy a gift. Let's see if that's right. Mom gave Billy a gift. Or you could say Billy gave Mom a gift. So we got it right. 1,300 points. Indirect objects for 400. She gave her cat some tuna and her dog a rawhide. The noun 3 are these words. What are the noun 3s in this sentence? She gave her cat some tuna and her dog a rawhide. What is cat and dog? What is cat and dog? Actually, that needs to be what are cat and dog. Let's see. What about application for 200? A prepositional phrase begins with this and ends with that. What is a preposition and a noun? And I didn't add points for the last one. Forgot. So don't forget to do it when you play this game, because it's too late now for me to add them. Let's try for another 500 for direct objects. Identify all direct objects in the following sentence. The dog chewed on his biscuit, a very delicious treat. Identify all direct objects. The dog chewed on his biscuit, a very delicious treat. See if you get it right. What is treat? Did you get it? Did anybody say biscuit? Because if you said biscuit, why is it not biscuit? Biscuit is a prepositional phrase. It's in a prepositional phrase. So it can't be the direct object. The dog chewed a very delicious treat. That was a tricky one. Did you get it or did you miss it? I don't know. I'm not going to do the points because I don't know. Let's do identifying indirect objects for 500. The indirect object will never be in this phrase. What is a prepositional phrase? And I hope you got this, so I'm going to give you points, and you have 2,000 now. Awesome. Identifying indirect objects for 200. The girl sewed her doll a dress. This item received the object. The girl sewed her doll a dress. What received the direct object? What is doll? And I hope you got this one. Application for 300. Make a sentence with a prepositional phrase using the following words. Laughed, dad, baby, at. What is the baby laughed at the dad? Or you could say the dad laughed at the baby. Got 3 left. Identifying indirect objects for 300. The N3 are these words. Bob sent Joe and Tim an invitation to his party. Bob sent Joe and Tim an invitation to his party. The N3 are these words. What is Joe and Tim? They are the ones who received the invitation. Identifying direct objects for 400. The number of direct objects in this sentence. He danced as he sang to his dog. What is 0? Did you get it? There is no direct object in this sentence. Dog is in a prepositional phrase. This sentence is he danced, he sang. And we have one last one, application for 400. Make a sentence using a noun, verb, noun, 2-sentence pattern using the words letter, wrote, and girl. You can pause this if you need any more time. Correct answer. A girl wrote a letter. What is a girl wrote a letter? I am actually going to edit the Jeopardy for you so you can tell you can tell without any kind of confusion which sentences I'm wanting you to read and work with so it doesn't get confused with the direction. So it will look a little bit different when you go to play it. I hope that you enjoy this activity. We are back now at our lesson. I hope that you enjoyed the Jeopardy game. And now I want to show you what I want you to do for your activity, your assignments. You're going to do a picture walk, and I'm going to have you practice with me right now a picture walk and what that is. I have 5 different pictures here, and we are going to write sentences for each picture. Here we see an elderly man and his wife. The elderly man gave a hug and a kiss to his wife. Now, this sentence pattern is man is a subject, gave, verb, hug is a direct object, and kiss is a direct object. Wife is in a prepositional phrase, so she cannot be an indirect object. However, by taking the prepositional phrase out and moving the wife over to right after the verb, you then have the elderly man gave his wife a hug and kiss. Now you have the subject, verb, man gave what? Hug, kiss, to whom? Wife. Let's see the next one. A soldier shows affection to his dog. Here we have noun, verb, noun two. Soldier shows affection because his dog is inside the prepositional phrase. However, if you take his dog and you move it to right after the verb, you now have, look at the bottom, a soldier shows his dog affection. Now you have soldier as a noun, shows as the verb, affection is a direct object still. It didn't change that, but now you have an indirect object because it's no longer in the prepositional phrase. Next, we have the mom gave a cupcake to the little girl. The mom gave the little girl a cupcake. In the first sentence, we have gave as your verb. To the little girl is a prepositional phrase. Mom gave what is the direct object? Now, it can't be the indirect object because you've got to have a direct object before you can have an indirect object. You got to have a subject first, then a direct object, then an indirect object if you're going to do these sentence patterns. In order to get an indirect object, we need to take out, you can use these 3 words, the little girl, and move them here right after the verb. The mom gave the little girl a cupcake. This one looks yummy. Here we have Grandma baked a yummy apple pie for me. The first one is the noun, verb, noun two sentence pattern. You see for me in a prepositional phrase. Baked is the verb, noun is grandma, and pie is the direct object. If you need an indirect object, then take me and move it here after baked. Now look down below here. Grandma baked me a yummy apple pie. We still have the same subject, still the same verb, and still the same direct object, but now we have an indirect object. Baked pie for whom? Me. You see how it works? The girl told a secret to her friend. We have a prepositional phrase to her friend. Told is the verb. Girl is the noun. What was told? Secret is the direct object. What do we need to do to make An indirect object? That's right. You could take out her friend and move it here after told, after the verb. And look down below. The girl told her friend a secret. Girl subject, told verb, secret noun 2, and friend is noun 3. So we have that subject, verb, indirect object, direct object sentence pattern. And that is how it's done. For your assignment, I want you to do a picture walk. Use any of the following verbs or verb tenses. I don't want you to just pick any verb because not every verb will work in a noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2 sentence pattern. I wrote these verbs down to make it easier for you. You may use give, told, hit, throw, cook, bake, kissed, hug, give, lent, offered, bought, showed, wrote, drew, sell, sing, send, handed. Those are the ones I would like you to use. Choose 5 pictures and write a noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2 sentence for each one. Now, I like you doing these creative writing activities because when you can apply what you've learned into your writing, you will learn it better. It's using a part of your brain that makes you stretch a little bit. And then when you see it written in written form, it's easier for you to locate those parts of speech. This is 5 pictures you will find to write a sentence about using these words. So you may want to look up pictures that have to do maybe with these words to make it a little easier for you. And then you also have this assignment. I will send a recording. However, actually, I may wait for this one. I won't do a recording on this one because this one's not very long. I will actually show you how to grade this in the next lesson. You will not get a recording for this. Just wait for the next lesson. It won't take but a few minutes to do this. That does it for this lesson. It may have been a little bit longer than the other ones. I hope you enjoyed it, and do not forget I will send the link for the Jeopardy game into the classroom. We'll probably be playing that again when we finish the other 2, the next 2, the noun linking verb predicate nominative and noun linking verb predicate adjective sentence patterns, give you a little bit more practice. I will see you in lesson 5. Please send me a message if you have any trouble at all, and I'm happy to help you. See you next time.